Welcome to the deep dive. Today we are plunging headfirst into, what was just a crucial night of competition.
Oh, absolutely.
The rules were rewritten, loyalties were just shattered, and some major strategic plays were made.
Forget strategy. It was organizational chaos. The real battle was all about contracts and who you could trust to build a team. We're going way beyond just who won and who lost.
That's right. We're looking at the big tactical errors, the power grabs. If you want a shortcut to understanding where things are headed, you're in the right place. We've got, 3 massive threads to untangle today?
At least 3. First, we have to talk about the total catastrophic implosion of the women's WarGames team assembly.
Yeah.
Just personal grudges taking over.
Okay. And second,
we'll get into the tournaments. You've got the Last Time Is Now tournament, and then the, let's call it the philosophically bizarre John Cena tournament.
And finally, the big one, the moment that just hijacked the whole show.
The violent, coordinated power play by the Vision to take over the main event.
Okay, let's start with that WarGames crisis, because I was genuinely shocked at how badly that recruitment process just failed from the get-go.
Well, we have to start with Rhea Ripley. She walks out, still wearing that protective nose mask, from her injury.
Yeah.
And she immediately lays out the threat. She sees the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane with the tag titles, and they're backed up by Nia Jax and Lash Legend.
So that's a solid, unified 4-woman team right there. They're already organized.
Exactly. So Ripley knows she needs star power. She's out there with Io Sky, and she announces her first 2 picks, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss.
Now, on paper, that sounds like a monster team, a game changer. But was this a huge mistake?
How so?
Well, you're trying to unite Ripley and Flair. These two have a history that's, it's way beyond rivalry. It's deep personal animosity.
It was a gamble, for sure. A strategy based purely on star power, not trust. She was betting that the common enemy was a bigger deal than their years of hating each other.
And she lost that bet instantly.
Instantly. Alexa Bliss, to her credit, she tries to keep the peace. She agrees. She's ready to fight.
But Charlotte Flair just drops a bomb on the whole plan. Her rejection wasn't tactical, it was personal.
It really was. What were her exact words?
She looked her in the eye and said, "I don't trust you. I think you are a snake." That's not a refusal. That's a character assassination on live television.
Precisely. And in that one moment, the whole landscape changes. Charlotte walks out, and she tells Alexa Bliss not to count on her either.
Yeah.
She just completely opts out.
And here's where the other team proves how smart they are. The second Charlotte leaves them vulnerable, a 3-on-4 situation.
Bam. Nia Jax and Lash Legend hit the ring.
They just attack the remaining 3. It gets so bad producers have to run in to break it up.
The big takeaway here is that the opposition isn't just unified, they're opportunists. They jumped on Ripley's failure immediately.
So Ripley started the night thinking she had a super team, and now she's scrambling for 2 more members while the enemy has just shown overwhelming force.
It's a complete 5-alarm fire for her WarGames chances.
Okay, so from that total chaos, let's shift gears. Let's talk about the tournament brackets. You'd think there'd be more structure here.
A little more, yeah. We saw 2 quick, pretty decisive wins in the Last Time Is Now tournament.
Right, Jey Uso beat The Miz with the Uso splash.
And LA Knight got the win over Zack Ryder with the BFT. Both pretty efficient matches.
But the U.S. Championship scene is where things get weirdly philosophical.
Yeah, the champion, Ilja Dragunov, has this whole code of honor thing going on. He's sworn to defend his title the right way.
And what does the right way even mean here?
It means only against opponents he deems honorable. He explicitly said he won't fight idiots.
Which, of course, immediately creates its own brand of chaos. How do you even define that?
You can't. Which is why Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Candice LeRae stormed right up to the GM, Nick Aldis, demanding clarification. They're challenging the whole idea of a champion setting moral entry requirements.
And Aldis just lets him do it.
He basically backs his champion, lets Dragunov define the terms of his own challenge. So Dragunov defends it against Axiom, someone he clearly respects.
And wins clean with the H-bomb. So, point proven, right?
Not quite, because after the match, the dishonorable element strikes anyway. Ciampa attacks Axiom, and Nathan Frazier has to run down for the save.
So his search for honor is actually creating more faction warfare.
Exactly. It's breeding more hostility.
And while all this high-minded drama is going on, we get the complete absurdity of the John Cena tournament.
Oh, this was great. R-Truth just walks up to Nick Aldis.
And tries to enter the tournament by handing him 2 plastic lottery balls with his name written on them.
It's just classic R-Truth. You know, a perfect bit of comic relief to contrast with all the serious maneuvering. Aldis is annoyed, but what can he do? He just takes them.
On the more serious side of that bracket, though, we did get the next matches announced.
We did. Carmelo Hayes versus Bronson Reed and Penta versus Finn Balor.
And Carmelo Hayes made it very clear what his motivation is. He admires Cena, but he wants to be the one to beat him. To symbolically, retire his jersey.
It's about becoming the next icon, not just another winner.
Right. And really quick, on the women's championship side, Jade Cargill had a dominant win.
Very dominant. Beat B-Fab with the Jaded in, 2 minutes?
About that, yeah. But then she was immediately confronted by Michin, so her list of challengers is growing fast.
Her reign is defined by speed, but the line is getting longer.
Okay, let's pivot back now to the big emotional rivalries. This brings us to the war between Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa's crew.
Yeah, Sami Zayn comes back and he is fired up. You can feel it. He's been injured. He's been forced to sit and watch Solo, and the MFTs just attack his friends week after week.
So he comes out and he calls out Solo.
And Solo's response is just chilling. So calculated. He calls Sami desperate, pathetic. He says he was waiting for Sami to be at 100%.
He's basically trying to play mind games, implying Sami's not even on his level unless he's fully healthy.
And that arrogance was his biggest mistake. Because Sami just flips the script on him.
He reveals he was just medically cleared, starting now.
And then comes the punchline.
I didn't come alone.
And here comes the cavalry. Shinsuke Nakamura, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, Rey Fenix. They all hit the ring.
It just erupts into a massive brawl, and the good guys actually clear the ring. It was a great moment of retribution.
But that success has an immediate consequence. Solo Sikoa goes straight backstage, furious.
He demands a match with Sami from Nick Aldis, right then and there.
And Aldis, seeing how out of control this is getting, he doesn't just book a singles match. He escalates.
Massively. He books a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series elimination match for the SmackDown before the pay-per-view.
So a personal grudge has now exploded into a full-scale faction war, which is a perfect transition to our main event, which is all about building a team on a much more ruthless corporate level.
This brings us to The Vision, Paul Heyman's new powerhouse faction.
And it is designed from the ground up to just dominate every championship scene. It's all about strategy.
Backstage before the match, Cody Rhodes thinks he's covered. G and Jimmy Uso promise they have his back. Jimmy even mentions CM Punk is on their side for WarGames.
So he feels protected, which makes what happens next even more brutal.
And the real weapon here wasn't a person, it was a piece of paper.
It was the contract. Paul Heyman confronts Aldis, and he uses a specific clause in the WarGames contract that lets him bring talent from any brand to the show.
That's some next-level planning.
It is. And then Cody Rhodes storms in all fired up and demands a title match against Bronson Reed right now. He yells at Aldis, "Book it."
Okay, wait a minute. That seems like a huge weakness in management, right? The GM just books a world title match on the spot because the champion yelled at him.
It absolutely is. And Heyman was counting on that. He knew Cody's adrenaline would override his caution.
So the match happens, and it's over in 6 minutes. Ends in a DQ.
Because of a perfectly timed, coordinated attack, Braun Breaker and Logan Paul rush the ring and just dismantle Cody.
The Usos run down to make the save. They hit a 1D on Logan Paul. They're setting up a table. For a second, it looks like they might turn the tide.
For a split second.
Yeah.
But then comes the real shock. The illegal appearance.
Drew McIntyre.
A man who was suspended last week, he just appears, knocks Jimmy Uso off the top rope. This isn't just an intrusion, it's a massive violation of his suspension.
And it's all enabled by Heyman's clever contract loophole. They can literally buy their way past the rules.
The end was just pure dominance. Breaker spears G through the table. Reed hits the tsunami on Cody. And then to seal the deal.
Heyman walks into the ring and hands Drew McIntyre a contract right then and there.
And that's the final piece. The Vision now officially has 4 members. Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, Logan Paul, and the just reinstated Drew McIntyre.
They used legal loopholes, brute force, and total shock to build their team. They're just one spot away from being complete. So, if we put it all together, we've seen 2 completely different ways to build a team.
With completely opposite results. You have the women's division, which is fractured because Rhea Ripley built her team on old grudges she couldn't ignore. Now she's scrambling.
Meanwhile, the Vision just added a suspended superstar using ruthless contract tactics. They leveraged the chaos.
Exactly. Ripley failed to manage her own internal drama, while Heyman created drama to his advantage. Even Dragunov's search for Anna is getting swamped by opportunists.
It all comes down to who can fill those last empty spots. We have the women's team and the Vision, both with vacancies.
And given that the winning strategy tonight involved betrayal and breaking the rules, it really makes you wonder.
It does. So we'll leave you with this to think about. What kind of person, what kind of unpredictable risk does that final teammate need to be to actually succeed in WarGames? And who is the most dangerous candidate out there to fill that last defining vacancy?
That's the million-dollar question.
Thanks for diving deep with us.